guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Afreen and this channel is all about freelancing, social media and online entrepreneurship. Well, it's been a while since I last created a YouTube video, which I'm so sorry about, and I promised myself and I promised to you guys that I'll be more consistent with YouTube content creation. Now, recently we have hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, which is absolutely insane. So thank you so much for all the love and support. And in order to thank you even further, this video is actually dedicated to you guys, because in this video I will be answering your questions that you submitted on my Instagram stories. Now these questions are all about freelancing, Fiverr, making money online, social media and all of that related. Also, there are timestamps below this video, so if you want to just navigate and jump around to different questions, you can do that as well. Also, if you're wondering what's behind me, these are actually some of my amazing students from the Freedom with Fiverr program, and so there's a program that I run online. But without any further ado, let's start with the first question. So the first question that we have is it necessary to become an expert to start freelancing, or intermediate level is fine? Now this question is so popular because people wonder that they have to become an expert or they have to become a pro in order to start freelancing. Well, it's actually the other way around. You have to start freelancing, you have to start making money online, you have to start working with clients in order to become an expert. You cannot become an expert just by sitting there and just honing on your skills and doing nothing. You have to work with clients, you have to do the actual work, you have to deliver the files, and with that consistent action, you're gonna get more confidence, you're gonna get more expertise, and that way you'll be able to become an expert or a pro in order to succeed later in life. So to answer your question, you can absolutely start as a complete beginner, even if you don't know what you do, because when you start, you're going to actually get that momentum. You're going to actually learn how to talk to clients, how to communicate to clients, and how to work your way up in that freelancing career. And the sad reality is that you will not ever feel that you are ready or you are an expert to start something. There will always be someone better than you. There will always be someone who know more than you. So you're going to compare yourself to them. Do not compare yourself to those people who already are ahead in their freelancing careers or who are already ahead in their journeys. As a beginner, you should think that there are clients in the world who know less than you, and you are the one to help them. You are actually not helping those people who know more than you. You are helping those people who are less than you. And remember, there is room for you. Even if you feel that freelancing is very crowded, it's very saturated, there's always room for someone who believes in himself, who is ready to work hard, and who wants to make things happen for themselves. So if this is you, I'm sure that you will be able to succeed in your freelancing journey. The next question we have is how to manage time as a freelancer. Now, I actually love this question because I was struggling with time management when I became a full-time freelancer. So there are two types of freelancers. There's one freelancer who works full-time, who works from home, and that's basically his entire business. And on the other hand, there are people who just consider freelancing as a side hustle, and maybe they're working with 9 to 5, or maybe they are working while they are studying and all of that. So let's start with the first category, which is full-time freelancing, or if you are a full-time freelancer. Now, if you are a full-time freelancer, you have to think of your freelancing gig as a freelancing business, because once you consider your freelancing gig as a business, you will actually take efforts in order to grow that even further. So my recommendation is that you are using calendar blocking or scheduling technique, where you are scheduling every hour of the day to some tasks and you are sticking to it. So it's basically similar to school timetable. For example, from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. it's math, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. it's chemistry, etc. Similarly, you have to calendar block your timing each and every day so that it's easier for you to work on that, and make sure that you are not working on it all day every day. Sometimes as a full-time freelancer, we end up working all day every day and we just burn ourselves out. Don't make that mistake. I have made that mistake in the past and it just costed me my health. So just make sure that you are blocking that time, and you are setting those boundaries as a freelancer, and tell your clients that your office hours are, let's say, between 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. or maybe 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. or whatever timings you prefer. On the other hand, if your freelancing gig is basically like a side hustle, what you can do is that you can actually monitor your time inside your school or inside your university or inside your job, whatever your full-time gig is, and just see how many hours in a day you have that free. If you have 3 to 4 hours free every single day, then it's going to be very easy for you. But just make sure that you are managing clear expectations with your clients, and don't just deceive them, because otherwise you'll just deliver late work. And if the client is upset once, he's not going to return back to you for more and more work. Now, the third question is, tips on creating a perfect Fiverr gig. Now there are so many things that go inside creating a perfect Fiverr gig. Well, I'm gonna talk about 3 of them. So the first thing is your SEO or keyword research. The second thing is your thumbnail, and the third thing is your analytics. So let's first talk about SEO. So SEO is basically search engine optimization, and you have to make sure that you are using those words or using those phrases that buyers are actually using to search for something on the platform. So in that case, you have to do the keyword research first. Don't just jump around and create your gigs all of a sudden. Make sure that you are doing your keyword research first before diving into the gig creation mode. So SEO is probably the most important thing that you have to take care of, because if your SEO is good, you will be ranked higher on Fiverr, and at the end of the day, you'll increase your chances of getting orders on the platform. So that's number 1, SEO or keyword research. The second thing is basically your thumbnail. For example, if your SEO is perfect, your keyword research is perfect, and if you are ranking on the first page of Fiverr, but if your thumbnail sucks, but if your thumbnail is not appealing enough, or if your thumbnail is not getting enough clicks, all the work that you have put inside your SEO and keyword research goes to waste. So make sure that you are designing your thumbnail in such a way that attracts the buyers, that attracts more clients to get more clicks on your gigs and eventually more orders. The third thing is basically your gig analytics. Well, first of all, there's no such thing as a perfect gig. There's always a gig that keeps on improving, and that's the gig that becomes perfect in the future. So make sure that you are actually taking care of the analytics tab that you have. See the impressions, see the clicks, see the views, see the number of orders that you are actually getting, and actually see how your gigs are performing. You have to make sure that you are leveraging the backend, you are leveraging the analytics tab, and update your gigs accordingly. So let me give you an example. If your clicks are lower, you have to make sure that you are updating your thumbnail. If you are not getting enough impressions, you have to update your SEO and all of that. And one more thing, the first time that you actually create a gig will not be perfect. So make sure that you are leveraging analytics and updating and improving your gigs every single time in order to see what buyers are reacting to the most. The fourth question that we have is, how can I enhance my skills? Now, this is an excellent question because people already have a skill, but in order to become quote unquote expert, or in order to become a pro, or in order to become a master of that skill, it's important to enhance your skills. Now, there are 2 ways that you can enhance your skills. The first way is actually by learning, and the second way is actually by doing. So for example, if you know Photoshop, you have to make sure that you are updated with the new elements and the new trends and all the new improvements that are coming in Adobe Photoshop. Similarly, with whatever skill that you have learned, you have to ensure that you are updated with modern trends, with latest trends and all of that. There are so many websites that you can actually update those skills for absolutely free. And by the way, I created this video where I talk about how you can learn anything online. So I'm sure that this video is super helpful if you want to learn a new skill or if you want to enhance your current skill. Now, the second part is basically by doing. Now, learning and updating your skill doesn't matter or won't work if you are not actually doing, or if you are not actually working with clients. So you have to make sure that you are working with clients on the platforms such as Fiverr or Upwork, or you can get clients off of those platforms. It doesn't matter where you are working with them, but at the end of the day, make sure that you are working with them, because when you work with them, it's actually easier for you to enhance your skills faster. Now, the next question we have is, what is a better way to get high ticket clients? Now, for those who don't know, high ticket clients are basically the clients who are willing to pay, let's say $500 or $1,000 or $1,200, depending on the services that you provide. So that's basically the clients that are willing to pay a higher price for a premium quality service. So if you want to get high ticket clients, you have to make sure that you have a strong personal brand around yourself. You have to make sure that you are creating that aura. You have to make sure that you are creating a brand around yourself so that only selective people can actually apply to work with you. Now, this will take some time, but if you are doing it right and if you are doing it properly, it's gonna be actually worth it, because obviously if you are attracting high ticket clients, that means you will be able to generate more and more revenue in your freelancing business. Now, in order to create a powerful personal brand, you can actually select one of the platforms: LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, or any other platform that you prefer. And the most important thing is that make sure that your ideal client is actually on those platforms. So for example, if you are creating content on Facebook and your ideal client is actually on LinkedIn or on Instagram, your all efforts are gonna go to waste. Make sure that you are selecting those platforms that will actually attract high ticket clients for your freelancing business. Now the next question is, what are some of the best freelancing websites? Well, I have already spoken about freelancing websites in this video, so make sure you check that out as well. But the best website that I'm going to actually recommend here is Fiverr.com, because if you are a beginner and if you have no clients, you can actually start on Fiverr and gain that momentum and gain that consistency in order to scale it up later. Fiverr has worked for me, it has worked for a lot of my students, and I know that it will work for you. But if you want to expand on other websites, you can actually check out this video where I talk about other websites as well. Now the next question is, how to get more subscribers on YouTube? Well, I wasn't expecting this question because I just have like 1,000 subscribers, but I have learned a lot of things along the way when reaching to the 1,000 subscriber mark. So I'm going to share with you 3 main things that has worked for me a lot. The first thing is niching down, or in simpler words, make sure that you are focusing on one topic and one topic only. For example, if you want to talk about technology, make sure that you're not talking about fashion or lifestyle or food in the same YouTube channel, because it's going to diversify your audience. And if your audience is diversified, if you are addressing to every single person, your ideal client or your ideal audience might not be attracted to your YouTube channel. For example, in my case, I mostly talk about freelancing and online entrepreneurship, and all of my videos are related to that. Similarly, you have to make sure that you are selecting one niche or one topic and sticking with it, especially when you are just starting out, especially if you want to grow faster as a new YouTube channel. If you, let's say, have 100,000 subscribers or 500,000 subscribers, you can obviously expand your niche and expand your topic, but as a newbie, as a new YouTuber, make sure that you are actually niched down so that you are attracting more ideal audience. The second tip that I have for you is make sure that your content is educational. Now, there are 3 types of content on YouTube: educational, entertainment, and inspirational. And the educational types of videos are actually performed more on YouTube, because at the end of the day, YouTube is a search engine just like Google, and people mostly use YouTube in order to look for answers to their particular queries. Similarly, if you are providing educational content, for example, in my case, I'm talking about freelancing and making money online and social media and online entrepreneurship, my content or my YouTube niche is actually educational. But for example, if you're just creating vlogs or creating random videos that are not educational and they are for entertainment purposes, it's gonna take you some time to get that momentum on YouTube. But if you post that consistently, that can be successful as well. My third tip is basically search engine optimization, or SEO. The title of your YouTube video, the description of your YouTube video, the tags of your YouTube video, make sure that they are optimized according to YouTube search. And if you're not taking care of search engine optimization on YouTube, you will actually be lost in a pool of all the other YouTube videos and your video will never be found. The next question that we have is, what's the most in-demand skill to sell on Fiverr? Well, now I'm gonna actually debunk this myth that there is one skill or there are skills that are actually popular or that are actually in demand. There is no such thing as in-demand skill on Fiverr. There are actually in-demand services that you have to figure out on Fiverr. For example, yes, graphic designing is popular, but I don't recommend my students to actually go for graphic designing or for video editing or for any other skill that's actually in demand. I tell my students, and I will tell you guys as well, that you have to actually check for the demand and supply of those skills or of those services. And once you calculate that, once you know the demand, once you know the supply, you have to make sure that you are selecting those gigs that are actually hot selling in nature. Now, I'm not going to say that you have to go for graphic designing just because it's very popular, or you have to go for video editing just because it has like a lot of orders or a lot of money. Absolutely not. You should start, and you must start with the skills that you already have. Obviously, if you want to add more skills, you can add that as well. But right now, if you want to start on Fiverr and if you want to succeed on Fiverr, you have to make sure that you are selecting those services, not skills, services that are actually high in demand and less in supply. So this is your answer. There is no such thing as in-demand skill. There is a thing called in-demand services or in-demand gigs that are actually hot selling in nature on Fiverr. Well, that's it, you guys. These were the top 8 questions that I received on my Instagram stories. If you want to share more questions, make sure that you are following me on Instagram, because I do these Q&As every single month, and obviously you'll get your question answered as well. If you want to learn more about freelancing, social media, and online entrepreneurship, make sure you watch these 2 videos as well. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.